Good morning and welcome to the 10th of our Shift, Sustain, and Succeed series. We welcome anyone to join us each Tuesday and Thursday as we do our best to find you answers to the most pressing questions our businesses have in navigating the COVID-19 situation. If you think it's been a challenging time for business, employees, and education, imagine what it's like to be in a position of leadership. At all levels, today's leaders are being asked to make decisions about what to do when there's no roadmap, no precedent set, and the stakes are high. But with all the fault finding and criticism circulating, one thing I'm confident of, our local leaders have our best interest in mind. They are navigating the fine line of protecting all local citizens while charged with maintaining and growing our local economy. So I'm really pleased today to welcome our Venango County Commissioners, Sam Breene, Chip Abramovic, and Mike Dulaney, to share how we are doing as a county and how we are managing the COVID-19 situation. So I do want to remind everyone that we are in an ever-changing situation where what we know today or think we know today as a fact may be replaced by new information tomorrow. Everything shared today is based on the best information that we have today. And of course, there have been some changes since I talked to Chip and Mike and Sam last week. So we think we can navigate those changes. If you have any additional questions we don't get to, please submit them in the Zoom chat, and we'll do our best to include them or to follow up after this meeting. So Sam, I think we were going to start with you today. Everything changed the week of March 19th. Boy, that seems like a long time ago now. Can you briefly describe the first signs that Venango County would be impacted and what steps happened at the county level?
Well, I'll say the first sign that I got that it was going to affect everybody, not just Venango County, but the entire nation, and this might sound strange, but I'm a big sports fan, it was when March Madness was canceled, and that was March 12th. Because the amount of money, just the amount of revenue and money and planning that goes into something like that, that's a national, even international event, told me that, oh man, this is serious. This isn't just going to be a regional thing. At that time, we already had cases coming up in Chester County, and it was that week of March 12th that we sat down as commissioners and took a look at what we needed to do at the county level. And the first thing, I think, even though you don't have a model, you have some guiding principles. And when you lay those out originally, our first guiding principle was, what can we do to keep our employees and people in the county safe while also keeping the business of the county, which taxpayers are funding, running and running smoothly as possible. So we first started doing some basic things, simple sanitation procedures we changed up. So we had all our doorknobs, all our touch surfaces being sanitized every 2 hours in every building. From then, we also changed, we also shut down all our senior centers immediately. We also made sure that our prison, which, which has employees there that would have to come in during a virus, if there were a virus outbreak in there, it's very important to keep that from happening. So we shut down all visitation there and started implementing some testing procedures, just temperature taking and whatnot. And the most important thing that we did was, when we knew this was an issue that we were going to have to deal with that was going to affect 460 employees at the county, we got all of the department heads, all of the row officers, and all of the judges together. We called a meeting early in the morning, next day, to sit down, nail out a plan of what we can do, first steps to make to address the situation and adjust to it. And we were blessed not to be hammered with this early like some other counties. So by the time we had most of our policies put in place, it was another 10 days or so before there was a confirmed case in Venango County. So we were blessed that we weren't hit as early as others, but we also did take some proactive steps right away to get things and get some policies in place that I think were smart, and I'm confident that they were the right decisions.
Right. Thanks so much, Sam. Yeah, those are things that go on behind the scenes that often people take for granted. We're glad that our leadership is working hard to, think ahead. So Chip, what have been the most challenging aspects of the pandemic on the county government?
So it would be information sharing as well as getting clear, precise statements out to individuals. With over 430 county employees, to Sam's point, when the decisions were made and how they were a moving target, and every day was a different day with new information gathered on which direction we needed to go for the safety of the residents and more so with our county employees. We've tried getting that out as much as we can through various measures. And we had a 3 to 4 phase plan that we came up with in the first week, that when X happens, Y happens. So we had that catered pretty well to address our employees, because the biggest thing was giving them information in a clear way that they knew how to handle. So there wasn't a disinformation being shared, there wasn't rumors being shared. And the biggest thing we have to deal with in the county staff are rumors and how they start to fester in larger ways. And slowing that and trying to stop that has been probably the hardest thing, as well as then communicating to our residents of the county that just because our building's doors are locked doesn't mean that we're not working, doesn't mean that we're not open, doesn't mean that we're not 85% of the county staff is still coming to work or working from home. So those were some of the biggest challenges. And it's gone very, very well. It's really pushed the side to show that you can pay fines and costs online. You can pay your taxes online. It's really been a good way of showing our residents the other side that they weren't accustomed to using as opposed to now.
Great points. Yeah, I think we actually lose sight of what a large employer, one of the largest employers in the county. So when we think about that and what some of us are going through just managing small staffs, congratulations on being able to work through, how to communicate with so many employers and everyone that they serve. We would expect that one of the other challenges is likely the changes to elections. You already were dealing with some changes to elections going into this year. I know we're navigating that all last year. Sam, can you talk to us a little bit about what that means? Can I vote in person? What do I need to know about how the process is going to be different?
Well, it was going to be different before the coronavirus, but this really did throw another wrench into it. We had mail-in voting decided that it would be allowed in Pennsylvania a couple months before the election, and that was serendipitous because it did allow us to. It is allowing fewer people to be at the polls and dispersing crowds, but that wasn't intentional, and it took a lot of planning just to execute the amount of work that it takes to do mail-in balloting a first time around. We've had about 6,000 mail-in ballot applications, but you can still vote at the polls. And we thought it was incredibly important to make sure that in a time with so much confusion that we weren't going to consolidate any polls. We wanted everyone to know that their polling place that they went to last time is going to be the same place that it is now. So you can go on election day. There will be lots of procedures put in place. The workers are going to have masks on. They'll have gloves. We'll have plenty of hand sanitizer. Hopefully, because of the number of mail-in ballots, there will be fewer crowds. But you can still vote in person. That'll be next Tuesday. I can't believe it's come so quickly. But if you go to your polling place and if you've already applied for a mail-in ballot, I urge you to send in that ballot, because while you can go to the polling place, even if you've applied for a mail-in ballot, we will know that you had applied for a ballot, and you'll have to do a provisional ballot at the polling place if you haven't sent it in. Now, if you do the mail-in ballot, know that you can bring your ballot in to the courthouse and drop it off here until 8 p.m. on election day. So it gives you some time to choose the way you're going to do it. But if you have applied for a mail-in ballot, I do urge you to send in that mail-in ballot or come to the courthouse and drop it off. If you don't, for whatever reason, you'll have the option of going to the polling place. And if you have applied for a mail-in ballot, but you go to the polling place, you will have to do a provisional ballot there.
And actually, today is an important date. This is the last day to apply for mail-in, right?
Yes, that's true.
And how would someone do that? Do they go online or call, or how exactly do they do the mail-in?
All of the above. You can do it online at votespa.com or .gov, and you can do it, or you can call into our courthouse, call into our office here. Someone will be there to answer the phone and give you any advice you need. Mike, did you want to take something on that?
No, I think you pretty well covered all that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to move on to Mike here with the next question. Mike, can you help us understand the financial impact and how the things that have happened either can or will or may affect our county services? I think we know this is affecting business, but the county is a business. Can you talk to us about how this will affect the budget and taxes?
Well, so when this first all started, one of the very first things we did was we sat down and we put a stop to all of our discretionary spending. So all the construction projects we were working on, any place that we could put a hold on the spending, we did, because going into this, we didn't know how long it would last, how long we would be, when we would come out of it. But so that was in early March, actually. So we were actually a little bit ahead of the game with that. Then once things started shutting down, we started having more talks. We sat down with everybody, as the guys had said earlier, with all the department heads, and we started working on plans to do work from home or rotate the shifts out so we could limit everybody's contact around each other. And then right around Good Friday, we offered a voluntary furlough to our employees. We didn't want to make it mandatory, but we offered it out. About 10% of the workforce took it. They will be coming back at the end of the week. So that'll be the first time they've been back since Easter. So we started looking at ways to save money. We started halting all of that spending. We also had extended the tax deadlines. We figured that would try and give some sort of a break to the public. If you would have paid by this date, you get a discount. Well, that was extended through the end of June. Actually, what it ended up causing was our tax revenue to increase. We had more people paying early. So actually the counties turned out pretty well. Now, a lot of people that have been affected negatively by this are the municipalities. I know there are some that are hurting, mostly because, where our taxes are property taxes, theirs will be property, payroll tax, right to work. But fortunately, like I said, we got out ahead of it, so we came out all right.
Good. Well, it's good to hear of the good planning. Mike, to you as well on this next question. Regardless of whether people believe that COVID is a real threat here in our county, I think all would agree that the top concern, that we all have is the care and safety of not only our residents, but also of our first responders. They could be quite vulnerable if there are increased cases here. Can you talk just a little bit about what's been done to ensure that they are safe themselves, that they're prepared to serve the county, that they have the adequate PPE that they need?
Yeah, so, Tim Dunkel, Tim Dunkel Jr. is our director up there, and he's actually been fantastic during all of this. I mean, he's been in constant contact with PEMA and FEMA through this now. At the beginning, we did have a little bit of trouble getting information out of the state. I mean, that's not like that's news to anybody. It's kind of always been the complaint here. But he finally started getting some information. He was finally able to get, I don't want to say too much, but he was able to get some information about the people with the coronavirus. So he was able to develop some sort of protocol for our first responders when responding to a potential site. So he did a fantastic job with that. He's actually been building a cache of PPE. Fortunately, we really haven't needed it a whole lot around here. Some of the fire departments have asked for it, but for the most part, we've been well prepared. We've been in contact with UPMC. They were well prepared. I think we're fortunate that we didn't get as affected here as everybody else did, but had we been, I think we would have been ready for it.
Great. Thank you for that. And as I said at the beginning of the call, leadership walks a fine line because, everybody wants to know all of the information, but one, there is information that is sensitive, and leadership is charged with guarding that information that further protects everyone. So we really respect that, that is something that you are all challenged by. We love knowing there's plenty of PPE, but that doesn't mean that everyone should rush out and hoard it in their homes or in their businesses. What a wonderful show of support from so many sewers in the region, both in business and in their homes. So it's really good to know. And if we hope we won't get a second wave, but if we do, let's hope that we're better prepared than anyone to fight that off. So Chip, the next question for you was, how is the county preparing to move from red to yellow? But the good news is now we're in the process of moving to green. I think we're all excited about that, but understand there will be some challenges too. Can you talk a little bit about the policies and procedures that are in place and being planned, and how you as local leaders will help usher us safely into green?
Well, I think it was a great announcement for us right before Memorial Day weekend, because just that day going through the weekend, there's kind of a different type of excitement that we're past this. We're moving forward. We're a new beginning, if you want to say that. And the biggest thing so far is waiting on guidance from the state, which we should be getting in the next, hopefully today, if not by tomorrow, on everything going on. I know I'm pretty excited because I get a haircut first thing Friday morning. So aside from that, a lot of questions from business owners on what it'll look like, how we'll manage, what procedures they're going to put in place. I know at the county, all of our offices that are open to the public have asked or not received yet, but we're working through it, is getting private or screens up in front of everything with plexiglass. That'll be covered. Our cleaning stepped up another level, especially in our magistrates' offices, which will be getting a lot of traffic. And it's been a positive. I know Grumpy Goat this week, I believe, has given us like 150 gallons of hand sanitizer. So thank you to them. We're going to have stuff everywhere for our people coming in off the street, as well as our employees. Just this morning, domestic relations started to ramp up their child support adjustment hearings, and there's people at the front door and back door still waiting outside to be called in to come in and do it. But we're really excited. We're taking a whole nother level, and we'll see what the 50% occupancy looks like this week on Friday for restaurants and I believe hair salons. And I have a feeling that's going to be short-lived and moved up to at least 75%. I know the one biggest question I've received from both of those industries is that occupancy from the city or local authority giving me my occupancy for my building? Or is that actually what my current people sitting at tables is, 50% of that? So hopefully that can be clarified, because that can be a very, very different number depending on what people perceive as occupancy. I know a lot this week has been conversations about masks. And I've been telling people that masks are what you feel comfortable. They're only recommended if you want to wear a mask and feel protected, then go ahead and do that. But if you feel like you don't want to wear one, that is up to you and your discretion, because they're just strongly recommended at this point. And who knows what it'll be after this week. It might not even be required or asked by the end of this week. So I hope that answers a good bit that for you.
Sure. Yeah, thank you for that. Sam, I think we talked about you adding some comments here, regarding that move, for one thing. Any thoughts that you have? And also, do you know if the county will be participating in these strategies for contact tracing as we go forward? Because we do want to remind everyone that going green doesn't mean it's over, it's done, and everyone's healthy and safe. It means that we've done our work here in Venango County. We've kept our numbers low. We think that our vulnerability is low, but we wouldn't want that to change. So Sam, any comments you can add?
And we definitely don't want to have a situation where we go from green back to yellow. When they called and asked us on Thursday or Friday whether we wanted to go green as a county, they asked the commissioners, and I said, have you not read what we've been saying for the last couple of weeks? Of course, we're ready for this, and we're prepared for it, and we'll be very happy to announce it. So it was really good news that we're going to green. We certainly deserved it. I mean, if you just looked at the difference over the weekend, last week there were, I think we had 8 cases and 370 tests. Over 100 cases were done since then, so 470 tests this morning, and only 8 cases. So if that's not flattening the curve, I don't know what is. That means that we've only had 1 new case in the last month. So we've been doing the work. We've been doing the things that we needed to do, and we've been blessed. But it has made changes. We're still being prepared. Like I said, for the elections, we're going to make sure that all the polling places are prepared with what they need to feel safe so that people can go into the polls and do that. On contact tracing, yes, we have been doing contact tracing at UPMC. That was something I have to commend UPMC, the ability we've had to work with them through this, and the communication we've gotten from them has been good. And one of the first things that we asked about, because we're in a county with so few cases, contact tracing is much easier for us to do. And UPMC has been doing that with any of the tests that come back positive at their facilities.
Great. And I want to remind everyone, I think Tessa will change the screen here, the slide here, that we are trying to keep you up to date. We'll be sure and update some things today as we get more guidance on what green means. So you'll find out on venangochamber.org, our Shift, Sustain, Succeed, that we have registration for links for our future sessions, reportings of each sessions, and any resources that are mentioned during these sessions. So again, as we're provided with guidance, we'll try to make sure that that's up there. If the county commissioners have anything they'd like us to share specific to the county, we'll be happy to get those resources up there. Mike, the Venango County has continued to be very low in confirmed cases. We've heard each of you have talked about what a great job we've done here. Do you feel confident that that we can make it safely into green and remain low? Do you have any kind of words of advice on what we can all do to continue to keep our numbers low?
I think it just comes back to being smart, practice that safe hygiene. When you touch a high contact surface before you eat food or touch your face, go wash your hands. The 6 feet rule. If you want to wear the mask like they've been saying. We've been pretty fortunate here in the county. But what we know about the cases we've had, the confirmed cases, these have been travel related. So it's not like we have a hot spot. It's not like there's some business somewhere that just has it, the coronavirus crawling all over it. So I'm confident that we'll be able to keep those numbers down, especially when you leave the area. If you, again, like I said, if you're practicing those basic hygiene, following the CDC guidelines, I think that the worst is behind us.
Great advice. Yeah, I think we're all itching to go. For full disclosure, I traveled this weekend, but we very, very much limited, any access to the public. And I think that's something, particularly if you are vulnerable or that you're going to be exposing a more vulnerable community, you want to be extra careful about exposure. Again, this isn't over, and there are many, many communities where COVID cases continue to climb. So, if you're going to visit someplace, actually, you might want to visit someplace where the numbers continue to be low.
Well, so if I could just add something real quick.
Sure.
Going back to that contact tracing, if you're just walking past somebody that has this, if you pass somebody in the store and you think they're sick, the chances of you getting it are pretty low. When they do the contact tracing, they'll say anybody you've been exposed to for at least longer than 10, 15 minutes. So we don't have to be afraid of each other. I know there was a lot of fears over that. So that's all I wanted to add.
Right. If my understanding is, particularly if you've had someone diagnosed, or that someone that you spend a lot of time with has been with someone diagnosed, those would be reasons to take extra precautions, and perhaps let those that you may expose, know that you need to keep an extra distance or be extra careful. So we're winding down on our time, but I'd like to give each of you just a chance for any final comments. I had asked about the biggest challenges. I hope those will continue to go down, but I'm not seeing the chat, but Tess, I'll ask you to let me know if there are any any calls in or questions in the chat. But otherwise, let's go back to you first, Chip, and ask for any final comments from you. We do have contact information up here for anyone that wants to follow up with any of our commissioners. So Chip, any final comments from you today?
Yeah, super quick. Thank you so much for all you're doing with these, Susan. I know these have been a huge help. You took the ball and just ran with it from day one through all this, and I really appreciate you and your staff and everything you're doing to help our community get through these tough times. And the biggest things that I want to say is, and I don't think think you guys might know my opinion. From day one, we've done everything we could with the information we knew, and information was changing day by day, which was the hard thing. And the other hard thing was our frustrations of not getting information in a timely manner. But that's not just Venango's problem. That's been a Commonwealth problem on information getting. So we've done a great job, I think, here, and to have 8 cases is astounding for our residents, especially being an hour from Erie and an hour from Pittsburgh and off the Interstate 80 corridor. So we've done a phenomenal job mitigating this issue. And to the point where I think a lot of the frustration from our residents not being open was we have not seen it here and it's not been here, so it doesn't feel real as it would in a larger metropolitan area that has been very impacted. So I just want to thank you for all you've done, as well as everyone in our county who have done an incredible job dealing with everything and getting through this in the most perfect way. And hopefully we can have a great summer now going forward and just have fun. So thank you for all you're doing.
Thanks, Chip. Sam, how about you?
Chip couldn't have said it better. Susan, from the very beginning on this, I will say the biggest challenge at the end of every day, I can say with complete honesty that at the end of every day, working with Mike and Chip through this and the department heads, I've never left the office not feeling confident in the decisions that we made that day with the information we had at the time. But what has kept me up at night, which is if you're going to call it a challenge, what has kept me up has been thinking about the businesses and who might not open and what they're going through, and making sure that people and the people waiting on their unemployment checks. But really the uncertainty that there was when we were shut down for businesses that were going through this was the biggest challenge for me. But I will say, though we couldn't control that completely, being able to call together early on all the business leaders in the chambers to address this issue and communicate with the businesses as best we could, doing that and your part in that was essential to this being a smooth transition out of green. And Susan, I think it goes without saying that of everyone, you were truly a leader in that process, and I appreciate it because you helped us immensely in our efforts to communicate with the business community. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Sam. I really appreciate that. Mike, any final comments from you?
Yeah, I just well, they all said it too. You know, this is great what you've been doing. And for a lot of you people out there that are watching this, if you're not aware, the commissioners have been hosting a weekly phone call with some of our business and economic leaders, and Susan's been a big part of those, and she's really kind of taken the let's go get it and get it done attitude that we all know her for. So we really appreciate that. We really appreciate all she's been doing with us. I guess just something to add with all of this is we're going through something that there's nobody alive has been through this before, or at least nobody that would be old enough to remember has been through something like this. So this is completely new for everybody. I will say one of the good things that came out of this is we've started working a lot closer with some of our counties. Now, we've always kind of collaborated before, but I mean, we're talking to the surrounding counties, daily, weekly, if not daily. I know we've talked to some of the other ones up north, out east. So there's definitely a collaboration happening, more so than there was before, than I had seen before this. Now, like I said, we always had worked together, but there was definitely a lot of, hey, how you guys doing? It got more personal too, like, how are you guys holding up? Asking us as people, not as counties. So it's nice. It definitely brought some people together. So.
Thanks, Mike. Well, I appreciate all of your nice compliments. It really has been a pleasure to see how we've pulled together as leadership here in the county. The weekly calls have been so meaningful for me too. And it has indeed been a challenging time. And I have to remind everyone that we're making tough decisions where we balance, for first and foremost, keeping everyone healthy, but really wanting to get back to a normal, and there will be more tough decisions. It is not over yet. So we beg everyone's patience with our county leadership, and, with all of us as we go forward. We'll work together and ask each other for support, because the one thing we don't want to do is be deep in criticism here within our local area. We have some great things going for us, and we want to continue that way. So again, I just remind everyone, we've got more great sessions lined up for you on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're making a lot of other resources available, connecting you with other partners. This morning, the State Chamber started a series that is, I think, really valuable. If you haven't signed up yet, you may still be able to get in on the rest of their sessions. These will be recorded. You can view them, share them with others, register today for some of our future sessions. And I'm in the office, so if you need anything, give me a call. We'd love to help you out. So have a great day. It's beautiful out there. Get out and get some fresh air. So thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Susan.
guys.
Everyone get out.